Well, the next presidential election is coming up pretty darn soon. And heck, all the hooting and hollering can get pretty overwhelming at times. That's why all you need to do is remember, in 2012, it's time to put a Republican back in the White House. Yeah, we've fooled around with these Democrats long enough. Time to come on back to the GOP. You see, the GOP has a long history of being righteous, freedom-loving, principled public servants. To show you what we mean, let's take a little walk through history. You see, the first ever Republican president was none other than Abraham Lincoln. He believed so much in states' rights that he sent hundreds of thousands of federal troops into sovereign states and just started killing everyone. Until, that is, they agreed to not leave the Union. Lincoln was so adamant about states' rights that he would kill to keep states from leaving because he wanted there to be as many states as possible that he could give rights to. The more states, the more rights. Well, that's just plain logic. After Lincoln, Republicans continued their tradition of supporting liberty and freedom, like during Reconstruction when they turned the South into military districts and put them under martial law for a decade. As the years progressed, Republicans continued to be stalwart defenders of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, like when we Republicans supported prohibition in the 1920s. After all, folks should be free from having to decide what kind of beer they're going to drink when they get home from work. All we Republicans really need is a glass of tomato juice. Tomato juice don't come in different flavors. They're all just a bunch of tomatoes. We had some good years in the 1900s, but only when a Republican was in office, that is. Only when there was a man of true character, like, say, noted Republican Richard Nixon. You know what? Just a plain old honest guy. You gotta respect that. Of course, now that brings us to the great Lord Master Reagan himself. Lord Reagan was a small government conservative through and through. He was so into shrinking government that he grew it by 90% during his time in office. He did this so that he would have more government to shrink. He was a government shrinking machine. Lord Master Reagan also did a bunch of other great stuff, like when he gave weapons and CIA training to Osama bin Laden. You see, he did that so that years later, old George W. would have even more ass to kick. Am I right? Look, the Republican Party, along with being valiant defenders of small government and states' rights, is also really into democracy. We believe that the people of a country should be able to choose what form of government they want. That's why we go into other countries and kill anyone who would choose to not choose democracy. Because when you choose to not choose democracy, well, that ain't really a choice at all now, is it? But we GOPers ain't all about democracy and rights and stuff. We also believe in family values. All the greatest family men in history have been members of the Republican Party. Guys like Mark Sanford, Larry Craig. Remember old Mark Foley? Ted Haggard, Newt Gingrich. Newt Gingrich is such a family man that while his wife was dying of cancer, he went out and started another family. Old Newt can't get enough families. He just loves them so much. In fact, that greatest Republican of all time, aside from Lord Master Reagan, Rush Limbaugh I'm talking about, he's a staunch defender of the sanctity of marriage. He thinks marriage is so sacred that he's done it 4 times. And he's such a family man that he has decided not to have any kids at all. You see, Limbaugh knows that if he had any kids, they might accidentally drown in one of his huge vats of money he has in his 57-bedroom mansion. What a selfless guy. You see, the Republican Party is the way to go. And by the way, we ain't racist neither, no matter what nobody says. In fact, we got that black fella running for office right now. What's his name? Old Herman Cain. Oh, Herman Cain, he's blacker than a leather sofa covered in chocolate syrup, I tell you what. He surely is. And he's a Republican. So vote Republican, or we'll invade your home and kill your children. I'm just kidding. We don't have to invade your home to kill your children. Biological weapons, you know. Think about it.
This is delicious.